Hello, this is the first of our videos which are about exploratory data analysis. This is an important body of content in the first roughly half of our course. Now I want to begin by just giving you a quick overview of where exploratory data analysis fits into the scheme of things. There's quite a good Wikipedia article called Exploratory Data Analysis, which tells you a little bit about the history of it and how it fits in with the more modern idea or more modern term of data science and data analysis, and tells you a little bit about some of the tensions over the years with statistical analysis. But for our purposes, I just want to show you a kind of process diagram, and this comes from the Wikipedia article, but I think it's quite useful. Okay, so we start off with the real world and collecting data from it. And raw data, unprocessed data, unanalyzed data is collected in all sorts of ways. A lot of it these days comes from websites of various kinds, social media platforms, electronic buying and selling platforms, manufacturing systems, and so on. Before we can do much with it, we usually have to process it. So often in the collection mechanism stores the data in ways that are not very accessible or very useful for a data analyst. So there's some kind of processing step that's involved. Quite often it's converting it from the form in which it's stored in some kind of computer or machine into a form that basically consists of tables of data. And then the next step is cleaning it. So cleaning it means looking for problems in the data, for missing data, for outliers or anomalies. And if we find these, we will be able to summarize them using exploratory data analysis and then work out how to deal with them. And then typically you've got to go back to some form of processing and then you check the data and you clean it again. Now, a really important thing to know about this, to take away from this, is that this part of the process can be very time consuming. It's not uncommon in data analysis tasks for this processing cleaning cycle to take maybe 80% of the time that you're spending on it. And so what you've got to be careful about is that you don't underestimate how long a data analysis task is going to take, particularly if you haven't seen the data before you start. I've had this happen to me a lot doing various kinds of consulting where organizations tell me they have this beautiful data set, and then when you come to look at the thing, you realize it's a total shambles, and there's a lot of work involved getting it into a state where you can work on it. Now, the exploratory data analysis itself, you can think of that, once you've got the cleaning out of the way, you can think of it as looking for patterns, looking for things that might be useful, looking for things that are surprising, and then you can make some decisions about what you might do with those. So among the things we do, probably the most important is we look at the application of models and algorithms to the data. And we do this for a couple of reasons. So one is that we may want to create a data product. And by a data product, I mean something like it could be a recommendation algorithm for a platform like YouTube. It could be some product which delivers advertising. It could be a data dashboard which summarizes data from an organization on the fly for management. There are many kinds of data products. But the other thing we do is we summarize, communicate, visualize data for the purposes of decision making. And that's the primary focus in this course. Now, the approach we're going to take to data analysis is very classical and pretty simple. I'm basically going to teach you the what I think are the most important things that you would first look at. And I'll show you the techniques that I use when I am confronted with a new set of data, the very first things that I look at. So that will be the subject of the subsequent videos in this series.